Hey guys, Plev here, and today I'll be familiarizing you with some of the basic functionalities of the C130's Autopilot. First, ensure that your Autopilot is engaged. The Autopilot modes for the C130 can be divided into vertical or horizontal navigation modes, with vertical modes managing altitude and horizontal managing your heading. We'll begin with altitude hold and altitude select. So here we are at 5,000 feet. But let's say we wanted to climb to 10,000 feet. We could bug with the altitude select knob, 10,000 feet. Now this will engage altitude select mode. If we hold the pitch sync key on our yoke, we can override the altitude hold and place ourselves into a 5 to 10 degree climb. We'll do a little bit over 5. When we release pitch sync, you'll notice the flight director remains in place and the aircraft will try to hold that climb, and we'll check back in closer to 10,000 feet. At 9,000 feet, we'll likely get a 1,000 to go warning. In any case, we can click left click on Alt SEL to set the bug to our current altitude. Let's try that climb again. I'm going to go ahead and set my reference altitude to 10,000 feet. That way we're not getting an altitude warning as we climb. I'm going to disable altitude hold, and I'm going to hold pitch sync, placing myself into a climb, 5 degrees, and I'm going to click VS, or vertical speed mode. Do keep in mind that vertical speed mode will prioritize your climb rate over your airspeed and may stall the aircraft. Now, as we climb, the aircraft will do its best to hold our current climb rate that we've set, and the aircraft will automatically level out at 10,000 feet. But in the interest of saving time, we're not going to wait for that to happen. Coming up on 1,000 to go.
1,000 to go.
There it is. And we're leveled off right below 10,000 feet. Now let's talk about the auto throttle. I currently have it set to 230, which means there will be a caret next to the 230 knot position on the HUD. We can change this now to 210, and the aircraft will, on its own, slow down. The aircraft will do its best to hold this throttle or this speed in climbs, turns, you name it. This is not compatible, however, with the IAS mode, which we'll talk about later. Now let's move on to IAS mode. You cannot tick the IAS mode with auto throttle on. Let's disable auto throttle and wait for the warning to pass.
Throttle.
And now let's click IAS. You'll notice it has disabled altitude hold. IAS will use pitch to make sure that the aircraft maintains its current speed regardless of your desired altitude. So the aircraft will climb to lose speed or descend to gain speed, depending on how you set your throttle. In this case, I'm throttling up, so the aircraft is climbing to spend that excess energy on altitude, and if we were to throttle back,
check altitude.
It would do the same.
Check altitude.
We're getting a altitude warning because we are more than 200 feet off of our bugged altitude.
Check altitude. Check altitude.
Now let's move on to horizontal navigation. The simplest way to set a course in the C130 is to simply turn on heading hold mode. You'll get an indicator in the top left of your HUD. Down here on your radar screen, you have a blue caret just ahead of you. You can move that caret with the heading knob. The aircraft will turn to follow that course. We're just going to wait here. Now, let's say we wanted to stabilize at 340. We can left click, and it'll move the caret to whatever our current heading is. I think we might have gotten a little to the right of 40. We'll see. Yeah, 42. We can change it to the left, and the aircraft will follow. And we can also change it far to the right to a heading of 120. And the aircraft is going to turn to that course. nice and slow. When we arrive on our course, the aircraft will once again level out. Now let's move on to navigation mode. Let's use Nav Mode to navigate between these two waypoints ahead of us. Assuming you're relatively already on your flight plan, you can enable Nav Mode. Nav Mode will engage turns and horizontally navigate you along your desired flight plan, as it's doing right now. You can notice that our flight path prediction line is turning along this predicted flight path. The aircraft will automatically level out at the appropriate time. The cross-track limit exceeded warning on your ACAWS or ACAWS is your warning that you are too far off course for Nav Mode to function. If too far off course for Nav Mode to engage, you'll also get the not on intercept heading warning on your CNI. To initiate a holding pattern, you can go to Mission and then PPos Hold and click Execute. It will insert into your flight plan a holding pattern somewhat like a racetrack. The aircraft will hold this pattern indefinitely. You can exit this mode by clicking on the LSK next to Now Exit and clicking Execute. You will return to your flight plan. You can use the AFCS pitch control wheel located by your right hip to manually initiate climb and descent, just like with pitch sync. And you can do the same for turns using the turn control knob. You can also center these with an appropriate key binding. You can disengage pitch or lateral autopilot with these two buttons. You can recenter your AFCS knob with a right click. We can change the autopilot bank angle used between waypoints with the nominal bank angle feature. In this case, let's type the default 30 and change it back from 45. It's as simple as that. Waypoint sequence simply determines whether or not your aircraft automatically selects its next waypoint. Waypoint Trans has three modes: CP, ROT, and P2P. In CP mode, the aircraft will overfly your waypoint and anticipate the turn to the next waypoint, thus creating a smoother, continuous flight path. The aircraft will cut the corner on turns, creating a more arced flight path that's more common with civilian airliners. ROT is designed to be used in conjunction with CARP and deserves its own video. It is not pertinent for this tutorial. PP mode is point-to-point, and the aircraft will fly directly from the current active waypoint to the next. Once the aircraft reaches a defined point, it will then sequence to the next point and turn to that heading. This mode is useful for standard navigation. Alright guys, this has been another C130 tutorial with Plev. If I've helped you out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Plev out.